Hi, it's January 9th and today is day 1 of week 2's vlog. So let's get started. Okay, week 2 vlog. I am listening to currently Faded. I'll put it up here maybe. I am really enjoying it. I'm almost done. I think I have about an hour left of it, and then after that I might start the dream guy next door for the Buzz Wordathon. The word is dream for the month of January. That one's going to be a shorter book to listen to, and it will be a bit of a palate cleanser. Maybe also feel like I'm getting some reading done or listening done. I'm about to head off to the coffee shop to meet a couple of my friends, and I love this coffee shop. I know I've talked about it before. It's Wall Street Coffee Company. They are amazing. I'll show you a bit of the shop. My friend Sarah owns it, and it is the cutest shop ever. So going to go do that. So let's see, coffee shop, and then I'm going to go let out the other dogs that I walk, and then I'm going to come back and do some editing of vlog 1, week 1. It's rough, guys. I'm sorry that you had to put up with that. Actually, you probably just skipped it, which is probably not a bad thing. Hopefully I can make this week's vlog a bit better, a little less shaky. I'm already making it shaky, so we'll figure this out as we go along. Alrighty.
Wood floors, bare white walls, cupboards. My eyes sweep over the space that now contains nothing at all. No furniture, no art, no bookshelves, but I can so clearly see what was here a few days ago, before the move was back.
Welcome back to the vlog. I think we are actually a few days into the week. I think the last time I vlogged was actually day 1, but I have been trying to figure out how to get my phone so it's not so shaky when I'm holding it, and I can't hold it. My week has basically been going the same as last week. I go to work, walk doggies on my lunch, and listen to books whenever I can. The doggies that I was watching at my house have gone home. I miss them already. They were super sweet, if a little barky, but they were very, very sweet. So let's talk about books that I have finished so far this week. The first book is for my Spine Crackers book club, and it was Faded by Benedict Jacka, narrated by Gildart Jackson. And this story, it's a first in a series, so it's another series that I'll be continuing on with. Spoiler alert, I did like the book. It's about a guy, it's about a guy who's a mage. His name is Alex, and he's running a magic shop in London. He is not really part of the magic world in his world, and he's also not really a part of the human world. So he's sort of just in between the two worlds, trying to figure out where he fits. In this world, there's good mages and bad, or light mages and dark mages, and his apprentice was a dark mage, and he escaped from him. So that's sort of the background there. And then he is friends with a human who's been cursed. I think she's a human. Her name's Luna. And then all of these mages and people start coming after them, and basically they want to get Alex to get this artifact, highly magical artifact. And so that's the story of them trying to find it. It's him learning that he does have friends in this world, even though he doesn't feel like he's a part of the two worlds. It's not my favorite of the magical world of books, but sometimes the first in a series, you're just getting to know everyone. So I can see myself really liking this series. So I'm excited. I know the second and the third book are out already. I'm not sure how many are in the series or how long ago this was written, so we'll see. The second book that I finished was just a really short audiobook. It was The Dream Guy Next Door, and this met the dream word buzzword a-thon that Lala in Books has hosted or put together. Anyways, so The Dream Guy Next Door, it was just a short audiobook by Lauren Blakely. It was narrated by Vanessa, Edwin, and Sean East. Okay, so if you've listened to very many romance books, Sean East has definitely been a narrator. He's British, very, very sexy voice. So yeah, if he's narrating, it's already good. Very typical romance formula of a book. You know, it's an insta-love. Two neighbors meet, instantly fall in love, but then they don't want to fall in love because they're neighbors and they're on two different paths. And then, there's a little bit of where they break up for a bit. It's just your romance story. So it was fun. It was a quick listen, and sometimes I like that. As Mara over at Books Like Whoa, she always says she likes listening to these or reading these as like a palate cleanse. And it was quite lovely. It was just cute. The one main problem I had with it was at the very beginning. Moves to is a very female town. Like there's just a whole lot more females, and so the females are always trying to find the males. And some of the ways that they were talking about males, it was sort of like the opposite of sometimes how males talk about women. And I don't know, it was just a little too much for me. I didn't really need that. But otherwise, January and Liam were cute, and they both had kids. And yeah, Vanessa also did a nice job narrating. I would say with her, she just seemed younger. January and Liam in the book are both almost 40 or in their later 30s. So she seemed a little bit younger, but it was fine. It was cute. I liked it. And let's see, the other book. So I finished that. What? There was another book I thought I finished. I'll have to go back and look. But I am currently listening to my other book club's book, Better Than Her Husband's Book Club. And that's the Husband's Secret. I think, yeah, The Husband's Secret. So, alrighty, I'm heading off to work right now, and I will either vlog later tonight or maybe in 2 days. Who knows? Okay, bye. Hi. Okay, I finished with work a little early today, and one of my 2021 goals was to rejoin my library. I have a library card and all of that, but I can't find it, and so I've just been not going, and I've missed it. So today I am at my library right now, and I'm going to go in and see about getting my new library card and hopefully be able to set up my account so I can listen to some audiobooks through Libby or Hoopla, things like that. So I will keep you posted how it goes. Okay. Success! I got my card back, and apparently I was still in the system, so that was awesome. No paperwork. So a goal of mine in 2020 was to start using my library more again, because it's been some time. And another goal is, while I still listen to almost all of my books, partly because of the dyslexia and it just takes so long to physically read books, but I've noticed more people on BookTube who will like listen and
read the book at the same time. And I thought that would actually be quite smart for me to do. So, like I said this earlier today, I'm currently listening to The Husband's Secret. So I was able to check this out. And then another book on my TBR, Little B, which I've kind of been putting off listening to because I'm a little nervous, but I don't know why. Maybe because I've never heard of it. So I'm also excited. So Little B by Cleave. So we will see how that goes. And I'm already probably a third of the way through The Husband's Secret. And I'll start Little Cleave hopefully this week. Anyways, or Little B. Mixing up names. So yay! And now I just need to get re-signed up for Hoopla and Libby, so that way I can listen to some more books through the library app that way.
John Paul blinked, and Cecilia almost considered apologising before she remembered that this wasn't an ordinary disagreement about packing the dishwasher.
Hi, welcome back. Let's see, today is Wednesday evening, and yesterday was a fun day, like I said in, I think, the last post I did. I went to work, but got out a little bit early, so I went and got my library card. I picked up 2 books, The Husband's Secret and Little B. So I also remembered which book I couldn't remember that I finished before, and that was Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. Awesome book. So this was for my TBR pick for Meg, my friend Meg, to pick, except for I couldn't get a hold of Meg, so my friend Robin picked this. She sent me this for Christmas. One of my goals this year is to, while I'm listening to books, to physically look at them as well, just to see if that helps with being able to read a little bit faster and maybe help with a bit of my dyslexia. We'll see. I don't know. It's been an interesting experiment this week, but this was great. Before We Were Yours is written by Lisa Wingate. It was read by Emily Rankin and Catherine Tabor. They both, I felt, narrated pretty well. I was invested in the characters, and nothing really stood out for me, so they performed great. This book is following a dual timeline. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes, taking notes. So this book is following a dual timeline. We are first following Real Foss and her 4 younger siblings in 1939. They live on a shanty boat, and they are picked up by the Tennessee Children's Home of Society orphanage, even though their parents are still alive. Their parents went off to the hospital because her mom was giving birth to twins, and the birthing was not going well. So while her parents were at the hospital, they were taken from their home, and they ended up at this orphanage. Then we're also following Avery in present day, who is from a high society, high wealthy, and in politics family. And she was living in Baltimore, Maryland, but ends up going back home to South Carolina. I think it was South Carolina. Ends up going home to South Carolina because her dad is ill, and they're grooming her to become the next senator. While she's at home, she starts on a journey of finding out about a hidden history from her family that she starts investigating. So that was it. I loved the story. I've read another book, or listened to another book by Lisa Wingate, which I liked, but there was just something about this book, just that I definitely need to re-listen to it again. It's one I will definitely for sure re-listen to. So very, 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 very much liked this book. The next book that I finished, and I actually finished it yesterday, was The Husband's Secret by Liane Morarty. I can never say her name. Anyways, it was narrated and performed by Caroline Lee, who I love listening to Caroline Lee narrate books. She's Australian, and she just has so much, there's so much character in her voices. And I just love her Australian accent as well. So I gotta try and keep this camera from shaking. Sorry. If you can see, I had my carpets cleaned today and my couch, and so they're all drying. So house is apart. Anyways, so we are following Cecilia, who finds a letter addressed to her, and that says, "If you are reading this, I have died," from her husband, except for her husband hasn't died. And she calls him and says, "What is this letter?" And he starts acting really, really strange. And he's like, "Oh, nothing. Just, wrote it when our daughter Isabel was born. Just burn it. Get rid of it. You don't need to read it." Which, of course, anyone would sound like, well, why not? And so she's interested. She's going back and forth on whether or not she should read it. Anyway, she ends up reading it because it's a story, and finds out a secret from her husband that not only now is affecting their entire lives, but is also affecting other people in Cecilia's life. So I read this book. I listened to this book maybe 5 years ago. I'm not sure. But I really enjoyed it back then. It was actually when I was first kind of starting listening to books again. It was just exciting. I picked this one back up because it was a book club pick for one of my book clubs. And I actually did not remember a whole lot of it, but I still really enjoyed it. So, so My Husband's Secret. And now I'm, I think like 2/3 of the way through Little B. I have about 2 hours left of the, book, and I'm also enjoying this book. I kind of wanted a book. This was my TBR pick for refugee, either about a refugee or by a refugee. And I guess in my mind, I was thinking I wanted a true story. This is not a true story. It's definitely a novel. I should have read that. It actually says a novel. And I was a little hesitant because it's a story about a refugee. It's a story about two women. Little B, who is a Nigerian refugee who ends up in England, Great Britain, and after 2 years is released from the detention center with no papers. So she's still an illegal. And then it also is following Sarah, who Little B shows up on her doorstep 2 years after they originally met on a beach in Nigeria. Little B met Sarah and her husband Andrew. And so Little B shows up on Sarah's doorstep the day of Andrew's funeral. And so we're trying to find out what happened on that Nigerian beach 2 years ahead of time. What happened to Andrew? Why is he not alive anymore? And also just how are these two women going to save each other? So I don't know. I know what happened on the beach now. So it's a little bit of a mystery. So now that I've changed my mind from this being kind of a true story of a refugee, I'm enjoying it just as a story. FLosnik is the one who's narrating the story, and she's doing an amazing job. Like, she's narrating both Sarah and Little B, and she has totally different accents for the two different women. I was a little worried about how a white gentleman would be writing a story of a white and black woman, and just how that would go, but overall, if I just kind of step away from it, I am enjoying it. I do think because I am like reading and listening at the same time, and I spoke with one of my friends who read this a few years ago, and she really didn't like it, but she physically read it. And I do think if you are going to read this book, the audio version I think is the way to go, because FLosnik does a great FLosnik. She does a great job at the narration. Hopefully I'm going to finish that tonight. I have about 2 more hours left. Maybe I got an early day at work tomorrow, so we'll see. There's a couple more books that I want to finish. I still want to finish start The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And that might be the last book on my Battleship TBR game to get through. 2 other books that I want to finish is there's that backlist challenge this year going on, and if I can think of it, I'll link it down below. But the prompt for January is having a book with the word house in it. So there's The House by the Gildart Sea, something like that. But that's something I've been interested in for a while. So I wanted to listen to that for this month. And then I'm also going to read and listen to Emotional Intelligence 2.0 by Travis Bradbury and Jean Grievous. I am doing a Leadership Academy course through the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics this year. It's a year-long course, and they're doing a book club. So we have 3 books, one for January, one for February, and one for March. And I now know my January book, and I now know what day book club is. So this is something else. It's short, so I think I'll get through that. So that's my long update. So sorry. I forgot to mention that while finishing up The Husband's Secret last night, I was listening to it and physically looking at it as well. And it was interesting to see how the audiobook was different than the physical book. There was actually an entire chapter that was in the audiobook that was not in the physical book. It was a very, very short chapter, but anyways, there was an entire chapter that was not actually written in this book. It was also interesting to see how some of the words were different versus, in the audiobook versus the physical book. And some of the sentences were read in different orders. So I now have an experiment to see how many books that I can look and listen to at the same time, and how exact are they, or how different are they, or was this just because this was an Australian book? Maybe the audio was off of the Australian version and maybe I have the US version. I don't know. If you know, let me know down below, but I found that quite interesting. Okay, it's still Wednesday evening, but I wanted to hop on real quick. I'm still reading Little Bee, and it's really funny. She describes a movie that was played in her village, but because they didn't have any sound, all they ever saw from the movie was pictures. And I think it's hilarious the way that she describes it. See if you can guess the name of the movie. I know that there's a challenge, I think, on BookTube where you describe the name of a book, but in a roundabout way or so. So tell me what the name of this movie is. It's about a man who's always in a great hurry, sometimes in jet planes and sometimes on motorbikes and sometimes upside down. Okay, so guess below. Hi, so it is Saturday and I think I'm going to end the vlog here so that I can start the new week. I did finish Little Bee by Chris Cleave yesterday, I think, or the day before. And I did start, I can never say this book right, The House in the Silurian Sea. So I did start that book, and I think I'm about 2/3 of the way through that. I have about 2 hours left, and I'm enjoying it. I'll leave my thoughts for that book for the next vlog. But Little Bee, I enjoyed it. I have very mixed feelings about it, and I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it. I think if I think of the book just as a story, it definitely kept me engaged, and I wanted to know what was going to happen next. When I tried to think about it with the writing, at times I got very annoyed at the book. I think the pacing was a little off for me. So at times I'm like, okay, get to the point, or okay, we don't need to be talking so much about this right now. So definitely not one of my favorite books, but I'm not mad that I listened / read it. The performer was great, and FLosnik, I think is her name, and she performed very well. I think she did both women, Sarah and Little B, quite well, and I could definitely tell a difference in the characters when she was reading it and performing them. So, yeah. Plans for today: I'm going to close off this vlog, hopefully edit it and get it up, and I'm going to return my books to the library. Another book came in. I think it might be my Hamilton. Anyways, so we'll see what came in that I had on hold. And we're moving along on my TBR list for this month. I think I have 2 or 3 books left. A couple of those books are books that I added afterwards. So we'll see. Alrighty, have a great week, and I will see you in the vlog, well, next week. Okay, bye.